Hey there! Welcome to this quick walkthrough of the brand new GitHub PR Checks feature in BrowserStack Test Reporting and Analytics. So firstly, what is a PR check? A PR check is an awesome feature in GitHub that helps you ensure that certain conditions are met before a pull request can be merged. And this is a great way to ensure the quality of the pull request is up to scratch. Now, how can BrowserStack Test Reporting and Analytics 10x this workflow in GitHub? Firstly, Test Reporting and Analytics is an all-in-one reporting, debugging, monitoring, and analytics platform for any kind of test, even if they don't run on BrowserStack. So you can bring in UI, API, and unit tests and have them all integrated in one single platform for end-to-end traceability. And what you're able to get is AI-powered insights on your testing activity, so we're able to automatically identify flaky tests, RCA them, and more with zero user intervention. And you get rich analytics and reporting dashboards out of the box. Now, where it gets even more powerful is the robust quality gates and the good-to-go workflows. But the idea is, with Test Reporting and Analytics as your hub, you can now connect to GitHub and ensure that every minor detail is met to the standard that you require before the code can even make its way into production. Okay, so let's start configuring. Head to Integrations in the bottom left, find GitHub and click on Configure. And now you can go ahead and connect the BrowserStack Integrations app and give it permissions to your different repos. You'll then be able to pick a repo and then start creating the checks. So quite simply, what we're trying to do here is just ensure that for a check to pass, a build matching the latest commit in your pull request has made its way into BrowserStack's Test Reporting and Analytics. So in this example, I'm trying to ensure that a build called Smoke has made its way into the project called PR Checks Demo with a tag called Staging. And I'm going to ensure that in order for the pull request check to pass, the quality gate has passed. I'm also letting the configuration know if I'm creating PR checks for my test repo or my app repo. The great thing is if it's just your test repo, we're automatically able to pull your Git info and your commit info when you run your build. If it is for your app repo, you'll just have to send us your commit ID while kicking off your build, which is super simple. And I'll show you how to fire up the builds later. But let's go ahead and save this check and take a look at how we can configure the quality gate. So you can head to Settings and then Quality Gate. Now, the premise of the Quality Gate feature is to give you a super robust framework to evaluate if a build is good to go or not, rather than just relying on a basic pass or fail signal. We all know that even a single test failing marks a build as failed, but if every test had to pass in order for code to ship to production, none of us will be pushing code. We're all going in and evaluating builds manually and looking for what tests failed and if they're known failures, if they're stale test cases, and ensuring that the right test cases are passing. But unfortunately, most of this is done manually. The benefit of Quality Gate is that it helps you do this automatically. So let's take a look at this Quality Gate I've already got set up. So you can have different quality profiles, which are groups of rules, and you can have them apply either across your entire organization or target very specific builds. It helps you basically create different standards that different teams need to follow. And you can either say that this quality profile will pass if all of the rules that I've configured are good to go, or you can say the quality profile will fail even if a single rule is met. So different ways to approach the problem. In this example, I'm ensuring that all tests with the must pass tag in this core flows folder that I've got have to pass. It helps me ensure that my P0 cases are coming through. And I'm also ensuring that at least 20 tests run in the build, just so I know that all the tests I've written are actually being executed. There are more than a dozen rule types that you can use to build out your quality profiles, and all of them are customizable. So we've got everything set up, so it's time to see it in action. So I'll quickly open up a pull request, and what we can immediately see is the checks are added to the bottom of the PR, and I simply cannot merge this PR because the conditions required haven't been met. So what GitHub is going to look for is for BrowserStack to tell it that the builds associated with critical and UI tests, the two checks that have been created, have come through and have met the required criteria. So I'm going to kick off my runs now, This is an example configuration of how I'd set things up before firing them off to BrowserStack. So simply ensure that you're setting the right build name, the project name, and any other tags so we can correctly identify the build. For your test repos, BrowserStack is going to be able to automatically identify the git commit ID branch. But for your app repo, you'll just have to pass on the commit ID as part of the build's metadata, which I've done here. We'll be able to see the builds running in BrowserStack, and once they finish, what you can see is that automatically there is a comment posted on your pull request and the check status has been marked. And one of the things that I want to highlight here is this check, which is passing despite the fact that there are multiple failed tests. And if you remember earlier, this was the quality gate that we'd configured, that as long as certain tests passed and a minimum number of tests were run, this build was good to go, and that's exactly what it's done here. It's basically eliminated some false negatives for us. Now, this serves as a great jumping point to start investigating. In a single click, you can go ahead and see what tests failed and what requires fixing, so you're not wasting time looking for that one test run. Test Reporting and Analytics has access to every kind of log, from video, screenshot, network, framework logs, and more. And it has an AI agent that's able to take all of these logs and more and actually debug tests for you and even suggest code fixes. So in this case, it's identified what the issue is with the locator, and it's told me what I need to change. Now that I know what needs to be changed, let me go ahead and make that change and then make that commit. When we head back to the pull request, what we can see is that brand new checks have been created. Basically, I need to prove again that my code changes have worked, and I still can't merge until that's happened. I'm going to quickly run off some builds and show you what things look like once the check has passed. So we can now see that both checks are passed, and I am now free to merge this pull request, and in one click I can send the code on its way to production. And this is a great way to ensure that you're able to use quality signals from your automation test suites, no matter what the automation test suite is. It could be UI, it could be unit, it could be API, to ensure that the right code is getting merged. So now for some bonus content, let's learn how to make checks mandatory and also enable automatic merging in GitHub. Firstly, for automatic merging, head to Settings and General in your repository, and you can scroll all the way down and you'll see the setting which says Allow Auto Merge. So what this means is, as soon as all the checks are met, GitHub will automatically merge the code for you. In order to ensure that certain checks are mandatory, you can go ahead to Rules, Rule Set, and then start creating new rule sets here. So give it a name, and then you can set the enforcement status to active. We then recommend adding certain users to the bypass list. So this helps you ensure that in case the checks don't go through, someone can still manually merge the code. Now, target branches, you're going to have to decide which branches should be protected. So you can use different targeting criteria. I'm using include by pattern here. So, you can ensure and say that the main branch or production branches have to be included. And you can also exclude some branches from having to go through this test. So for example, you could have a wildcard for all your feature branches and not apply them there. Then scroll down to branch rules and check this option which says require status checks to pass. This is the section where you're going to actually say that these are checks that must be added and passed to them. Simply search for and add your checks, and then you can create and save the rules. Thanks for watching. I hope this video helped you supercharge your testing workflow with BrowserStack Test Reporting Analytics.